Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show on KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM from lovely Santa Clarita. Wow. All right. I see it's Halloween time. I see there's a fake spider outside the window. You see that, Jen? Turn around. You see that?
Oh, it's right behind me, yeah.
Yeah, well,
I like it. It's festive.
What if it falls on you?
Well, that's okay.
Could be a black widow, I don't know.
I'll be prepared.
Well, someone's going to have to save me, so I'm glad you're there. All right.
I'm your buffer.
Exactly.
Great. I didn't sign up for that.
It was in the contract.
Yeah, sure.
The little term.
Yeah. The fine print that no one reads.
The font in size 4,
Yeah.
All right. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show. Now, Ask Brien, people ask, what is Ask Brien and why is it called Ask Brien? Well, first of all, good question why it's called Ask Brien. We'll get to that at a later date. But the Ask Brien show has been now going on since 2017 in January, the first week of January. And each week we try to bring in a founder or somebody from a business that can teach something to business owners about some subject, whether that be Facebook advertising, SEO, or just how to get business started or how to start a podcast. Any one of those reasons and multitude of other reasons is why we started the Ask Brien show. My name is Peter, but the show is called Ask Brien, and on the show I am technically Brien for the show. But people want to ask, why is Brien spelled B-R-I-E-N? Because most people spell Brien B-R-I-A-N or B-R-Y-A-N, always with that A, not with the E, and they don't understand why the E is. But we have our resident expert who's on each week. Tracy, you there?
I am here, and I'm sure no one is confused at this point, so I'm sure no clarity is needed. But I am here for
Exactly. So I'll take a nap, and you just take the show over and call me at 2 o'clock.
Okay, perfect. So let's start with the reason that Ask Brien is spelled with an E, because we have multiple E's that reinforce the name of our show. And the first, of course, is always credited to our fantastic engineer. Yay!
Oh, thanks.
So
I'll take that. Thanks.
And that also helps the ego, which starts with an E.
True.
Yes, but our engineer doesn't have any ego. She's fabulous.
Just like me.
Extraordinary.
I have no ego either.
Yeah,
no, not at all.
Oh, Lord. That lying
That's okay. Now you're talking right. Lord, that's a good way to start.
There's an E in lie, I think, also, right?
Yes, exactly.
L-Y-E? Yeah, I've seen L-Y-E a couple times.
Sure.
Capital L, capital I, capital E.
There is no I in L-Y-E.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to argue with you about this because we have way too fabulous of a guest to be spending time on this. So I'm just going to go through some more E's, which, speaking of our guests, we love to interview experts on our show, and experts are exactly what Ask Brien is all about. We are here to provide you expertise, and our experts, well, we like to claim, and we've never been wrong, that expert status in your niche or your industry usually requires 10,000 hours of investment in being able to work within and be successful in your industry. And when that happens, you're looking at approximately 40 hours a week over 50, 52 weeks a year, which would take most people approximately 5 years. But all of our experts, without exception, have said that they have never worked just 40 hours a week. So that we think that learning curve is a little closer to 3 years. But the most important takeaway on that is that our experts on Ask Brien are fantastic. And another E that we like to talk about a lot, because it's so important to the core mission and values of our show, is education. So listeners and people that are dialing in, tuning in, downloading the podcast for Ask Brien, you're here for the education, and we make sure we give you that with a little bit of entertainment thrown in. A little new E there for you, Peter.
Well, our guest's last name starts with an E, by the way.
Yes, and that is fantastic. And I would love to be able to meet and greet her because I have a lot of empathy for the fact that she is sitting through this dialogue.
Don't worry, you're not that bad.
And I'm pretty sure that you have a lot of enthusiasm around our guest today, right?
And I'm excited!
And and I'm pretty sure that we did forget to warn her about that. So hopefully she's still around by the time we actually do the introduction.
She's probably deaf though, but go ahead.
Without further ado, and that's ABIEU, we do have, and why do you love that word so much?
Well, because it has all consonants. Excuse me. There's only one consonant in the letter, but you missed the biggest ones, right?
No, you didn't hear me. I said without further ado, we're going to tee up my most favorite.
No, there's other favorites here. Like, did you use the word education?
I did.
Or experience?
I used the word education.
And experience?
I did not use the word experience, but I talked about how many hours of experience you have to be an expert. So I think that qualifies.
And later on, we're going to go over this word later on. Existential, a big word. Wow. All right.
Oh, okay.
Yes, exactly. A new one. Anyway,
I just want you to know that had Olivia Newton-John still been around today, this week would have been her 75th birthday.
Wow. Can we get a yay?
And why do I bring that up?
Because
well, that's kind of creepy because she's dead.
Hey,
but,
no.
Peter requested the random yay. That was not my doing.
You were going to explain to everybody about Olivia, and we do applaud her. We're applauding her for her lifetime of work, not because of her situation.
Not because she missed her 75th birthday, because she's no longer
Otherwise, we could do something for John Lennon too, right? Now, and that would be a tribute, and a tribute we should get an applause. Now, we're going to say one last thing because the guest is like going, I got to call Isaac because I don't know why I'm here. Anyway, we've got one last thing. So if you remember the show or the movie, Grease, right? They're on the cars. Oh my God. They're on the cars and they're going like this with the thing, and you can't see my hand moving, but my hand is moving, and Jen can see that, and you'll say, Grease lightning is go!
Electrifying! And so are we! Woo!
All right. Now, Vivian, are you still there, or did you say, I'm out of here, I can't believe I got into this thing, what am I doing?
Hi, Peter. Hi, Tracy. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
So fun.
We do try to make it fun. Because businesses can be boring at times, so we try to liven it up a little bit. I could try to be like Kramer from CNBC if I could. Anyway,
you're doing good.
Thanks. So anyway, the first question we have is, you have a couple of businesses, but we want to first get your business background before you started your business. So you started your business, I believe, in 2007 is my recollection. But what were you doing prior to 2007 when you started your business?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. You bring me a lot of years back. So I actually went to school for film and TV in Colombia. And then when I moved to the United States first, I worked as a scriptwriter for some production companies. They used to do shows for Telemundo and things, and networks like that in Spanish. Then after that, I got a very bad injury, so I couldn't work for a while. I was in wheelchair for a while. It was a very, very difficult time and situation. And after that, I decided to leave completely the entertainment industry and just focus on health. So in 2007, the first thing that I helped develop was a company that it was focused on interpreting, medical interpreting. So they were making sure the patients were able to communicate with clients. So that was kind of my first interaction with the medical industry. And through it, I started working with consulates and with hospitals and so on and so forth, and got fascinated by the healthcare industry and all the possibilities to improve the systems. So since then, I began in this quest of developing different companies and creating this ecosystem of companies that support each other. But most of all, they support the client, they support the patient, they support the consumer. So from there, I was still working for someone in 2007, but around 2012, I decided to partner with two physicians and we started our first project. That was our first company. And since that one, it's been a progression. And now we have, at this moment, I think I'm involved with three big companies that take care of different parts of the healthcare industry.
So, first of all, let's just at least go through the three companies that you're currently working with. Which was the one that was first started? It's back in
Okay,
2007.
the first one that we founded used to be called Beverly Hills Medical Concierge.
Beverly Hills Medical Concierge. And what did that?
Yeah,
What did they
that
do?
was the first
What?
one. Well, it was in medical tourism, and we used to design these experiences for patients who will arrive to the United States and will need assistance, right? Because the biggest thing in the healthcare industry is you never know where to go. You never know where to start. Even if it's an elective
I
or
still
if
don't know.
something happens or something happened in your family, you get a diagnosis or any kind of situation, you always don't have that idea where to start. So we created these models where we will advise the client or patient and just literally take their hand through the process and make it as easier as possible for the client, but also safe, right? And well informed. And so we specialize in research and things that it will really give value to our clients. So you asked me before, and I don't remember if we were on air, but you asked me how do we work, and what we created within all these companies was subscription models to make sure the client will get the access that they needed, but that they will not break their pocket.
So, are those programs affiliated or connected through insurance? In other words, if I have insurance through Anthem, or if somebody had it through Kaiser or something, does your model allow work with those companies, or is this just a pay for?
That's a great question. We actually don't work with insurances yet. We would love to in the future, but as of now, we haven't had the experience to work with insurances. We would love to,
And
but not yet. Yeah.
so, for that business, okay. First of all, how do people find you
So coming back
other than
to
listening to our show?
Yeah, so that's something really special to talk about because through this process we became a specialist on business development. So this is the way that we see things in our companies, and is we're not focused on just one aspect of the business development, but we also see it as a holistic process, right? Where everything is connected, everything is involved. So I pay extremely well attention to my marketing, to my digital marketing, to our public relations, to anything that is involved, that is our online presence or direct client presence. We make sure that we're very attentive. So for me, marketing is the main thing in a company. Like I always see the most successful companies have a strongly focus on their marketing. You know, I have also great friends who have created amazing products, but all the money went into the development of the product and zero went into the marketing. And of course, unfortunately, it's very rare that these cases, succeed. Of course, there exist people who invest zero in marketing and still succeed. Doesn't mean that you need it, but if you would like to follow a book, well, marketing should be definitely involved.
Well, how do you market when you don't have $1 million? I mean, let's say you got 10 grand, which is not a lot of money. How do you use 10 grand to start something up? I don't know how much money you had to
Depends on
start.
your
Yeah.
business. Depends on your business. Depends on your client. So I will invest that money in doing the research. If I just had $10,000, I would learn who is my audience, who is the one engaging with my product or my service, and I will take it from there.
I imagine.
So if I had just the 10,000, honestly, I will invest in understanding my client and how we get to do that. Well, there is many ways, through digital marketing, to surveys, to direct communication with your current or potential clients, and do a study about what do you have and how you can sell it, and who is going to be the person engaging with your product or service.
Well, I know we don't have, this is only 1 hour show, so I don't want to get too more involved. You had two other companies. So what are the two other companies that you have? One is the Beverly Hills Concierge.
So through my process, through my healing process, I realized for me, after trying so many techniques, breath work was the one who really initiated a shift. It really created something different in me. So I have devoted my life to the practice of breath work, and also to teaching others how to unblock their breathing mechanism, learn to have more expansion, and really bend their reality. So I wrote a book called Bending Our Reality. And we also founded a company called Mana Breathwork. And Mana Breathwork is a method that it was created based on our experiences directly with our students, and also by my husband and I, Joaquin, who's my co-founder, studying through years and years with different masters. And we created the Mana Breathwork method. So Bending Our Reality is our first book. I wrote the book, I'm the author, and my husband did all the illustrations, and he also co-founded with me the method and helped me to create that method.
So first, before we go any further, Jen and I want to learn a breathing exercise. So give us a breathing exercise. We're going to try it right on the air.
We can do it.
Okay. So you know what?
Should I hold my breath and turn blue? No?
No, I'm going to do actually something more special for you, Dave, and giving you a breath exercise right now. I just want you to go with me. Just go with me. How long do we have? 1 minute, 2 minutes?
We'll give you 2 minutes.
We have about a minute or so. Yeah, just over a minute.
Okay, I'll give you something in 1 minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to calibrate your breath. So just drop your shoulders back a little bit. Just gently relax your body, muscles. Drop in the chair. Rotate your shoulders a little bit back. Move your head a little bit back so it's more aligned and your spine more open. Open your airways and just breathe in through your nose, bringing the air up towards your crown, and just allow it to go in. And just focus on your inhale. Inhale, breathe, bringing the air up towards your crown. Now release and just continue breathing, inhaling, exhaling through your nose. And just notice if you're engaging your chest or your belly, or if it feels tight. And just notice, just observe. There is no need for judgment. Just observe.
So Viviana, in our world where everybody's in a hurry, everybody is off to do something else. If somebody did want to practice this, what's a good amount of time? Like, can I do this when I'm at my desk and I'm stressed out trying to get something done? Can I do this when I'm driving in my car on my way to pick up my kids? What's the best kind of approach to it?
You can breathe 1 minute, or you can breathe 2 hours. It doesn't matter. Like, you can practice breath work as an exercise, or you can practice breath work to get to different states of consciousness, which will take 1 hour or two, and then you can alter the state of consciousness through your breath. So it depends on what you want. You can always use it in different amounts of time, and also for different purposes. Sometimes like to do breath work for performance, or for relaxation, or to sleep, or for creativity, or for sex, and anything that the person will like. And the breath can be used as it's used for us to live, and it mirrors the way that we live. We can use the breath for almost anything.
Well, that was really good. We have about 1 minute left, so I want to go over your third company, and then we're going to be
Yeah,
taking a short break. What's the name of your third company?
it's called the Medical Tourism Alliance.
The medical what?
Tourism Alliance. So what we do is we connect providers, and what I mean providers is doctors, all kind of clinicians, with resources so they can educate themselves in the medical tourism industry and also raise the standard of the service and learn together. So we have a very strong community, a network that we have created, and that it keeps growing, where it's based on support and education and up leveling the practices and also the experience for the patient. Just always focus on the experience of the patient or the client.
Well, we got to take a quick break. You're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. The Ask Brian Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to the Ask Brian radio show on KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Like no other station in the world. Did you know that?
This is news to me.
Wow. Well, we are like no other station in the world.
Impressive. I like it.
It is true. All right. So we do every time we have the 1:30-ish break, we do what's called a pivot. We're not playing basketball, but if you played basketball, you would know what the pivot is. Do you know what that is?
I do. Yes.
All right.
You kind of turn on a dime a little bit.
Pretty much. Keep one foot stagnant, the other foot can move around. All right. So for the pivoting, Tracy, you're on.
Yes. Okay. So what I'd like to pivot to, if you will, thank you for recapping the 3 different companies that you're associated with. Can you help us understand like your role in each of the companies and how that was defined, especially since you have partners? The reason I ask this question is a lot of people that listen to our show, they navigate either being a solopreneur or having partners or investors or spouses as co-founders. And often it's difficult to really define roles and responsibilities. So how does that work for you in each of the companies?
Experience being a sole owner or being in a partnership. I have experience work with close friends, people that I hardly know, and also with my husband. So I have a little bit of all. And, I don't think there is a formula. You just got to follow your intuition. If every time if you walk into a company with a partner, you got to ask yourself, is this is like a marriage? Is this a person that I will be feeling comfortable speaking for the rest of my life with, because my company will continue indefinitely? Is this a person I can trust? Is this a person that I feel comfortable with? Like, it really has to go by intuition. There is no way that you're going to know the outcome of if you should go in business with this or the other. I have very good experiences and some experiences that I have to learn a lot from it, but they were equally enriching for my life. So I appreciate the both sides, the contrast. Working with my husband, I think it has been amazing. I honestly have had a very good experience with it, because he's a very organized person, and I'm very organized as well. So that kind of works very well for us. We believe in something called the human design system. And in the human design system, by knowing the person's design, you kind of know their strengths and also weaknesses. So actually, we position the people in their roles in their companies, and we decide who to partner with based on their human design. So if you haven't heard about it, it was created by Ra-Uru. It's called the Human Design System. And for us, it has been extremely accurate for the last 7 years. We've been using it, and it really helped us to define who's going to be doing what and who is best for what, and in which case we should be delegating or will be leading. And I also, something that I recommend very much is we are both trained in something called adaptive leadership. Sara Caputo is our coach, and she's one of the, I will say, the pioneers that have worked with this in a very long time. And it helps so much in companies. So if you guys haven't heard about it, listeners, please look up adaptive leadership. For any kind of company, I think everyone should know a little bit about it. If you're leading or if you're just starting and this is the beginning of your career, it will give you tools and communication techniques that is gonna help you tremendously. So again, coming back at it, one of the reasons that for me it has worked so well to work with close friends and family is because we do coaching. I have a coach for adaptive leadership. I have a therapist that I see. I have a lot of people in my team that support me. I have my own colleagues that do breath work that I breathe with them all the time too, as a student, right? So I'm always that. I'm the master. I'm also the student all the time. So I always recommend to just continue having very good people around you. You cannot change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. So just make sure that you're surrounded by people that are supporting whatever you're doing, that they're nurturing you in an intellectual way, in a spiritual way, and in your profession, that they're there for you in so many ways. So try to create that around you. And for sure, even if you get to a point that you guys face some kind of situation or contrast, you can always find in yourself the resilience to go through it and the grace to surpass it and overcome it and learn from it and, make even something better. So I think it's really important, the people that is around you, and the only way to decide who will be around you is by just following your instinct in business too.
So I want to stay on that. We have a couple of minutes before our sponsor comes on, and you were talking about the human design integration into building out your team. And is that something that you put them through, like a Myers-Briggs type personality test? How do you ultimately get the delineation of the human design components for your team members?
Yeah, it's actually a system, and there is many websites that offer that. There is different brands that offer the system, so you can find them online, and you just gotta put the person information, and based on some of the information that you input, it runs the test, and it kind of gives you an idea. And of course, like any other system, like you cannot depend on it to decide who is in your system, but you can use it as a tool to know the person that you're including in your team and how to maximize the potential and their abilities and make them feel and make them achieve their own potential, right? Not just the benefit of your company, but on their benefit.
That's so fascinating. You said you've been using it for 7 years and that it's been something that you've become really reliant upon. What do you think has been the biggest benefit from utilizing it?
Because, for example, it will let me know who has more the capacity to be a leader, who has more, who needs more to be validated in certain things, the ways to communicate with that person, what strategies that person should have, what is also the things that it will trigger this person and it will make them go in this direction or this decision, how we can help that person to have a better decision-making technique. So by knowing their design and also including in their training how they can maximize their self and be better with themselves and have a better relationship with themselves, they're going to be better for the unity. So I'm big on supporting everybody to be their best, because the only way that you will have a good team is if everybody is feeling very good about themselves. If a person is not happy and is feeling not well about themselves and is struggling in so many areas of their life, the best thing that we can do to them is to help them to feel better. As soon as they will feel better, they will be able to do what they love, and hopefully that what they love is aligned with the purposes of these companies, and then we all work together and create something magnificent. But if you're expecting for a person who doesn't have their minimal needs fulfilled, and if they're struggling in so many aspects of their life to do a good job, then you might be addressing the situation in the wrong way, right? But if you focus on that person's mental health and well-being, most likely, you're going to have an amazing team member or a partner in life. This is not just for business, anything in life, even in your relationships.
We're going to take a break. We're listening to Ask Brien at KHTS 1220 98.1 FM, and we're going to ask on our sponsor, Legal Steps.
All right. Well, I'm going to play the part of your sponsor this afternoon. We've got we're missing an action over here with a phone call coming in.
That's not unusual.
That's all right. We can wing it.
This is radio, right?
It is radio, so we need
things happen, right? We have to be.
We're going to pivot, and here we are. We're pivoting.
Exactly,
we
are
can handle
pivoting,
it. Right.
But we're going to see how much. We are going to see what Jen really knows.
Well, I kind of, with radio, there's lots going on, so I kind of
call her Johnny on the spot.
One ear on what's actually happening, one ear on the board, so to speak. But we want to thank Legal Steps as a sponsor for your show, of course.
So what is Legal Steps?
So Legal Steps, from what I understand as someone on the sidelines, they kind of guide you through building your own business. So you're a newbie at it. You really don't know which way to turn. Legal Steps will guide you. And they do that with these great online courses. So it's almost foolproof if you're kind of, where do I start? Well, here's step one.
Foolproof. So basically a fool can do it.
Well, I mean, maybe a fool shouldn't be starting their own business. That could be.
Let's see if we can find a fool. Is there a fool around?
That could be a problem.
Let's find a fool.
Right.
We'll test them out.
But it's really nice. They offer these different courses. They teach you about business. They tell you how to incorporate different trademarks. It's a great way to handle legal issues as well. So if you're kind of stuck and you need a little bit of guidance, like how do I handle this? It's just a really nice, easy way. You go right on their website and they can give you all the information. There's videos that you can follow along to. So it's just kind of, they hold your hand through that process, which can be scary, especially if you're doing it on your own.
And basically you don't need to be a lawyer, but anyone can actually do it, correct?
Anyone can do it. It's self-guided, which is great too. You can kind of work at your own pace. Maybe you've got something else going on. You're a busy employee for another company, or maybe you've got kids at home, a spouse, and you're trying to run to the grocery store. Well, you can work.
Do it.
I could, yeah, I could. You can work at your own pace, which is great. And then they are so confident in what they're doing and what they offer for you that if you can't form a business after watching their courses, they'll do it for you for free. They are that confident.
Wow. So there's no risk at all.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
You know what? You're the new spokesperson for Legal Steps.
We'll see. I don't know.
Now every week we're going to want to use this.
Yeah,
all right.
Sure, all right.
Like, what did I get myself into?
Again, the fine print. I got to read the fine print, Brien.
Exactly. You didn't see the fine print that I gave you, right? Yeah. All right.
True.
All right. We're back. Listen to KHS 1220, 98.1 FM, the Ask Brien Show. Tracy, had some more questions?
Yes, I do. Awesome. Great job, Jen, too, on the impromptu sponsor fill-in. I love that.
Thank you. Thanks.
So let's move on and talk through the building out and scaling of your business. Let's start first with you from 10,000 feet and tell our audience, what are the plans for your companies and where do you see them in terms of expansion over the next 3 to 5 years?
Oh, I love that question. Okay, so steps. again, the steps. The steps are really important for the listeners. If you're focusing in just one area of marketing, you will miss a lot of opportunity. So the way that we work is, again, we do business development research. We put in paper everything that we would like to achieve in each quarter. So we divide it in quarters, and we have our goals, and we have our quota for that quarter. And we pay very good close attention to digital marketing. In my opinion, right now, everything that you're doing with your company, you definitely should have an online presence. You will have, even if you have a bakery in a small neighborhood and your clientele is just the people in your neighborhood, still you will benefit. You're missing so much with not having that part of the business, the digital presence and that online presence. So we pay very good attention and focus on building our online ecosystem as we build the company and as we get things going. As far as the next 5 years, we have come in the last year, we were able to create, even though they're different companies, create a model that mirrors each other. And through that model, we realized that we're able to render a better service, that we were more accessible, that we can reach a wider audience in all of the aspects. So one of my recommendations for everyone is do a business plan, but don't ever, ever, ever get attached to your business plan, because the growth, it will come, and it will come if you're paying good attention to it. When it comes, you will build on it. So you can have an amazing business plan, but the market will show you differently, and the market will take you in a different direction sometimes. So the best is to have your business plan in an open Google Drive that every day evolves and every day changes as we adapt to new technology and new ways of doing things, new techniques, new territories, and things like that. So I will tell you, in my experience, and that can be completely different for everybody, but in my experience, business plans continually changing, and it's in a good way. It's always a good surprise. Sometimes you get the most revenue from something that you were not expecting that it was going to be your biggest product or your biggest service. But so I always recommend just have your business plan, do diligence work every day on it. Always put your ideas in it. Always improve the systems and protocols within your companies. Don't ever, ever sit down and settle. Recently, I was talking to a friend, and he has a very big company, and they do education all over the world. And he was saying, he said mainly his main product remains very similar. It has some evolutions, but but his marketing, that is 60% of his company, evolves every month.
We're going to take a quick break. We have to take a quick break. The engineers like on me. So we'll be right back. You're listening to KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM. Sorry for that interruption. Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM, the Ask Brien radio show. All right, Trace, pick it up.
Back and say what you were saying before the break, since we got a little bit disrupted right before the break.
Hi, Tracy. So what I was saying is that in our business, we have to continuously evolve as we do in life. We got to remain open to change, resilient, and open to explore new avenues and new ways to do things.
Yes, it's so important. And I think just the work that you're doing and how to integrate that into the life of an entrepreneur and a busy founder and co-founder is really, really important. So I know that there's so much more to this conversation that we weren't able to have today what is the best way for our audience to get in touch with you and even more importantly, be able to purchase your book so that they can get a deeper dive into this wonderful content?
Yes, they can buy the book today at bendingourreality.com. So it's bendingourreality.com. And my name is Viviana, and thank you for having me today. This book is amazing. It will help you to transform your life. It will give you the tools that you need to succeed. So please don't wait. Go today and buy the book.
Love that. So for us, if you want to continue this conversation or refer back to the show notes from this amazing episode, be sure to discover and listen to our podcast on all of your favorite listening platforms. That would include Spotify, Apple, Pandora, iHeartMedia, and more. And we would love for you to not only revisit this episode on the Ask Brien podcast, but also check out our back catalog where you'll find all the episodes that we have been releasing for the almost 2 years now. So it's a really great library we've built on the podcast. And again, it's Ask Brien, that's AskBrien, the Ask Brien podcast, Apple, Spotify, and all the platforms. Peter?
Thanks, Trace. One last thing. We're going to put in the show notes for both the radio show as well as the podcast because there are multiple websites, multiple places to get information. People may not be able to be writing it down. They may be in the car somewhere else. So we're going to put that all in there. And if they want to reach Viviana, they can. So we only have about a hard out in about a minute and 40 seconds. So you were getting a lot into digital marketing. Now, I asked you this question a little earlier about the $10,000 issue, and that's the question. I mean, if you don't have a lot of money and you're trying to, like, if you had started your business and you had no money, what other things could you have done if you didn't have any money?
If you don't have any money?
To grow, and you just started your business.
Okay, you can go to your closest network. But it just depends. That question, it depends if it's a service, if it's a product, if there's what they're selling, what is their offering, right? So the first thing that I would do again is know my offering. If I don't have any money to invest, I will literally approach everyone that is around me and give that offering to them. If I have something that is going to improve the life of others, I will take it to the life of others, like old school, just word of mouth, starting with your network and allowing it to grow organically. If I don't have any money, I will do that.
What about giving the people a try so they can say, hey, like you just gave us that breathing exercise, right? We only have a few seconds. What about that? Kind of like the free trial concept where you give people a taste to see how it is, and then they decide, you know what, that's great, I want it.
Yes, absolutely. You can start even that's what I'm saying. Like if with your closest network, you can get them acquainted to what you're doing with your offerings. If it's a product, try your product. If it's a service, try your service. And they're gonna do the marketing for you. They're gonna go and tell their friends and their families too. So if I wouldn't have any kind of money, I will start from there. If I will have a little bit of money, I will put it all online on digital marketing, on ads.
Well, thanks a lot. Unfortunately, the show is over. You're listening to the Ask Brien Radio Show on KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM.
Thank you for having me.
With Viviana Escobar and my co-host, Tracy. Over and out. Until next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.